crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco Nation will not score, Jackson pours. Each game I score a touchdown. Head to Jackson's on Monday for a 49-cent fountain drink with Let's Go rewards. And don't forget your free banana, Jackson's. Let's go.
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
It's time for the Riley and Ridge Show, presented by Jackson's on Bronco Nation News. The Riley and Ridge Show takes you into the locker room and the coach's office, giving you a unique perspective on Boise State football from two guys who know a thing or two about what it takes to win on the blue. Riley Smith was a Campbell Trophy semifinalist and a four-time Mountain West Scholar athlete who was part of 52 wins and 2 Mountain West championships during his 6 years as a quarterback and tight end with the Broncos. Kent Riddle won 7 conference championships in 13 years as an assistant coach at Boise State while working with the running backs, tight ends, and special teams. He has nearly 3 decades of coaching experience overall, including stops at Army, Colorado, North Texas, and Arkansas State. The Riley and Ridge Show is presented by Jackson's. Need a pick-me-up? Stop into Jackson's for a 16-ounce coffee for just 99 cents with Let's Go rewards. Now, let's go out to the James Kitchen and Bar near Albertson Stadium and join Riley Smith and Kent Riddle for another edition of the Riley and Ridge Show, presented by Jackson's on Bronco Nation News.
What's up, Bronco Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Riley and Ridge Show, sponsored by Jackson's. And we're back here at the James, and it is championship week. And usually I introduce the guest, but this is a longtime friend of Coach Ridd, so I'm going to let you go ahead and start us off.
We are extremely privileged to have a former Boise State O-line coach, assistant head coach, many titles, but NFL O-line coach. Strauss and I go back to the Oregon State days, but great friend of mine, Chris Strausser.
Great to be here. Excited to be here for championship week.
Yeah, we're fired up. And, everybody's got a million opinions on, like, whatever's going on, but thought we'd tell some old stories about winning championships at Boise State. And Strauss probably got more stories than anybody.
Yeah, right.
Not sure those are going to come out tonight, but there's a couple stories out there.
Maybe not, but more seasons as a champion than anybody.
Yeah,
how many years total?
So 12 years here in Boise. What a tremendous place. I mean, the players, the coaches, the town, the fans. I mean, there's just so much to that this place has to offer. Unbelievable. Great run.
Yeah. which why you moved back here, right?
Absolutely.
So-
Me and many other people have left here and figured out, like, why would we ever leave Boise?
It's funny. When we both got here in 2001, we went to the coaches convention. I think it was like in Atlanta that year or something. And I'm not even sure you went. You might have had, because you actually had a baby at that time. I did not yet.
Right.
And we're like in the whatever hotel, the huge one, the Marriott Marquis or whatever it is in Atlanta, and bump into Chuck Pagano, who's since moved back to Boise and all that. He's like, "Oh, you're at Boise State. Don't ever leave."
Right. Yeah, Chuck's one of those guys that knew the values of Boise and how great Boise State was and all that stuff. And so, of course, he lost his mind and fucking went back to Baltimore now. But outside of that,
I actually heard the same thing. Like, it was at the coaches convention a year or two later. Tom Osborne, like, same thing. Like,
right.
You're there. Like, don't ever leave.
Right.
This is the best ever. And we both apparently couldn't heed the advice and went to Colorado.
Yeah.
And Strauss was like, after 1 year, like, I need to go back to Boise. And figured it out.
Hard place to leave.
Much faster than the rest of us. And it very lucky, right, to get a round two here.
Of course.
I mean, it's really is such a cool place. And, you know, it's funny because I'm sure I don't actually read all the comments, but I take a pretty good beating for being a homer, which I totally am.
Yeah.
Those guys are my buddies, and I'm not going to sit here and criticize them because I know what goes on behind the, you know, every play that doesn't work, you're like trying to figure out why it should have,
right?
And what would have better option, all that stuff. But you know, when you get here and you get to experience it, and you do leave, and you figure out like, pretty good deal. Maybe could have ridden that out a little bit longer.
Yeah, right.
But I think as Pete actually said, like, every job's got its shelf life, and at some point you got to do something else just to challenge yourself and break out and all that. And it's just it's cool to have a bunch of guys that are good friends back. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's cool, the pipeline at Boise State. Like, you coached a lot of the guys that are now coaching for another championship. So it's wild. People leave and always come back.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, you think about some of these guys like, you know, Nate and Matt Miller, and there's other guys on staff, but, you know, there's a reason these guys were successful players here. And it's the same stuff that's going to continue to make them successful coaches here, right? They're all about the right stuff and tough guys and smart guys, and they get it. And so, you know, to sit here and come back to town and have these guys here kind of carrying the flag for what many guys have done for a lot of years, certainly before us, you know, Dirk Cutter, his staff, and even before that with Jim Kreiner and his staff. I mean, it's just amazing to see what this place has done for so many years.
To Lyle Smith, right? And those
going back to Lyle.
Yeah.
I remember Lyle used to sit on the hood of his car outside of Strausser and I's individual area.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Way back when where the Blameyer Center is now.
Yeah.
It was a grass field.
Used to be the grass field.
He'd sit out there and he'd be like, oh, like there was some pressure. Like,
oh, for
we
sure.
better be getting some stuff done out here.
Yeah, because like there's a standard at Boise State that's unlike other spots. Like, especially with the transfer portal, guys will come in from big SEC schools and just get punched in the mouth because they don't really understand the true blue collar mentality that's at Boise State. So having guys that have played here and now they're coaching, they uphold that standard and keep it going, passing it down.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, it's great to see that, you know, everybody wants to win, you know, 12 games every year.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you have a year that you don't, and people lose their mind, which is that's just how the place goes. I mean, the expectations are hard. I'll never forget, you know, we were at the dinner one time and we lost our bowl game, and I think we ended up the year 12-1 because of the loss of the bowl game. And people at the table next to my wife and I said, maybe next year will be our year. And I'm looking at my wife thinking, what are you even talking about right now?
It had to be 04. It had to be, because that was a 12 in 1 year.
So, but that's a beautiful thing. I mean, the fact that, everybody's expectations here are championships. It's what it should be. Nobody wants to just be happy to be solid. The fact that everybody wants to compete for championships, fans, players, coaches, everybody alike, that's how it should be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lot better to work with high expectations than low expectations,
Definitely.
right? And it's awesome we have it here. And Strauss and I were talking as we were sitting over there, but there's been unbelievable alignment here, right? I mean, from it just like a lot of things have happened through the community, the school, the coaching staff, the player. Like we've been very fortunate here that things have just kind of worked out.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of places they haven't, and it's a good run, and it's not going to stop anytime soon because all that's still here, is still in place, and it's fun to be a part of it in whatever way, even as a fan.
No doubt. Now I'm a fan and definitely enjoying it. So it just keeps rolling. That bleed blue actually means something.
Absolutely. And even today was signing day.
Yeah.
Not exactly. Signing day used to be a major production.
Big Al's, right?
Well, way back, I think it was the Big Easy. Which is now the Knitting Factory.
Okay.
Whatever, but
yeah.
I mean, we used to have and shit, sometimes you might not know until the last minute if a guy was really going to sign or not.
Crazy.
I feel like today was a positive day for the Broncos because, as I understand it, there was no drama other than the guy who fake committed to Georgia and then signed with Boise State. But
no drama on signing day is exactly what you want, right? I mean, you recruit these guys, and you think about it like, some of these great players we've had here for many, many years, and then all of a sudden we grew to having players from Texas and Florida. And, the one thing that I've said for many, many years to guys wherever, in the NFL, wherever, was like, nobody understands how good of players we had from Idaho, like Brock Forsey and Donnie Heck and Shea McClellan. I could go on and on and on. Jeb Wootsier, about all these great players. But all that being said, it really did jump to another level when we got into Texas and started recruiting Texas kids. What was different? I know everybody gets, a little bit offended by that, but what was different was Texas guys come out of the womb loving football. Mm-hmm. That's a little different than most places. It's the reality. It is what it is, right? And so all of a sudden here we are recruiting guys from wherever, and this whole thing jumps up to another level. And so, but to your point of the fact that, signing day and no drama, what could be better, right? You're recruiting these guys this entire time, and you're thinking, okay, they're in, and then all of a sudden, last second, guys say, I'm going to go somewhere different. That's painful. Very painful.
It is very painful. And I was joking with some of the guys earlier today, but traditionally the best players here have been the least drama guys through recruiting. Like, I mean, they're really good players. Other people are trying to get them. They're like, I'm cool. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be there. Like, don't worry about it.
For sure.
Khalil Shakir was
easy.
Like one of those guys like we worried about all the time. Like, he says he's good. Is he really good?
Yeah.
And he just on signing day showed up and was a really good player.
Can you guys take us through a little bit of the background of recruiting? I don't know if we've really talked about it much on the show, but there's a lot more work in it than the fans may seem to think, because I remember you guys would get your break off and you're like, no, we don't get to go home and enjoy our vacation. We're going to go recruiting. So do you have any background on it?
I think it's changed so much over the years that I even think like now it sounds like the calendar's a little bit better. Those guys sign guys today, but it's a dead period. So nobody can be out the whole month of December. Or even we used to always leave kind of the Sunday after Thanksgiving, right? And it sounds like that's out now. But I mean, it's gotten earlier and earlier and earlier. And I don't know, Strausser, would you say like 20 some years ago, maybe 30? Like recruiting seniors was a big deal. Now it's like recruiting freshmen.
Right. I just think so much of it, even now, but back then for sure was about watching the tape.
Yeah.
Right. And, there's so much discussion going on. Everybody's got opinions about, how these guys, what they're ranked and all this good stuff. But at the end of the day, it was about watching the tape.
I would say that was our advantage in the early 2000s. I think we spent a lot of time watching tape, talking to coaches, whether they played for that coach or they coached against a guy, and really kind of knowing our area and what you were going to get. Now I think so much of it is like, well, let me just get on the computer and we'll check this guy out and watch his highlight tape.
Right.
And sometimes
there's no shortcuts.
Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. And I think Boise State's still on the let's do a good job, like making sure we're getting the right guys, not just guys that have a good highlight tape. And I feel like from what my understanding, they've done that this year.
Yeah.
But we won't. I mean, the same thing we used to joke about forever. Like, I'll tell you in 3 years if this is good recruiting class.
Yeah. The good news is we know these guys and they've done their homework. I'm talking about the coaches. They've done their homework. And so they've signed the guys that they believe are good, regardless of what all the rankings are. And so, you never know. And of course, there's going to be a handful of guys that are hit and a handful of guys that are missed. That's how it goes. There's no way to avoid that. But there's been a long run here of guys that were not necessarily heavily recruited that ended up being really damn good football players. And I have no doubt that that's going to continue.
Some guys that came in as freshmen and you're like, oh, but through perseverance ended up being great players here. Not just like good players or contribute, but like some of those guys, I remember guys, I'm like, there's no way that guy will ever play here. And then just a little bit better every day because they were the right people to be here that worked out.
Mm-hmm. And I think guys have a chip on their shoulder too, because obviously everyone wants to go to the SEC and play in the Power 5 schools. But then, I mean, Boise State's an awesome program, but you come in and then when you have the opportunity to face Georgias and Oklahomas, you go out and you're like, this is our moment. And you go out and dominate them. And that's kind of that chip on the shoulder that drives them and makes them a better player than if they went to an SEC school and kind of had an easy walk.
I think that's maybe the most unique thing about Boise State that people don't understand. And I've been fortunate to, have been different places in the country at different levels. And there's no substitute for players with a chip on their shoulder. Mm-hmm. There's just no substitute. And you're always trying to get that as a coach, trying to get players to have a chip on their shoulder. And for whatever reason, the guys that come in this building find a way to get that chip on their shoulder, and it pays off.
One of the things always, speaking of recruiting, talking to Strauss here, but like your ability to identify guys that weren't 5-star guys, but I mean, you coached a multitude of guys that went to the NFL, and maybe a couple of them started out as 5 stars, but I think you get Matt Hill, who I guess you only have for 1 year, but NFL, Darren College, NFL, Clady was, I think, after that. I mean, you had the whole crew that started the deal of all the left tackles. Potter was definitely a Strausser crew. Like all these guys, and like, not only those guys just playing left tackle, but the whole crew that you had. Like, tell everybody a little bit about like what it takes to recruit no linemen, build no line, and turn them into championship guys.
Yeah, I think we had there was a really great run here of, I think, 12 years that whoever played left tackle ended up playing in the NFL. And To me, like when I think of that, it's all about the player, right? It's a player's game. You can say what you want, coaches, especially now, right? We're all in this media of what's going on this week of, Lane Kiffin going to LSU and whoever going to Florida and this and that. And there's a lot of hype about the coaches, but at the end of the day, it's a player's game. And I think if you go back to like the deep roots of recruiting, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what position you are, you're trying to recruit athletes, like competitors and athletes. And if you get that combination of things, you're going to have success. And so I just think about some of the guys we had here and still have here playing offensive line. As long as you get guys that like are explosive, have balance, are athletes, you're going to have success.
You've been pretty fortunate, Coach. Some of the best in the game. Like people probably have no idea. Larry Allen, Hall of Famer. Laramie Tunsil will probably be a Hall of Famer. Like those guys. Like what? I'm not going to ask you who's the best guy. Although it'd probably be Larry Allen, I would guess. But anyway, what are some of the traits those guys have? I think you probably just said them. But
no, I mean, I think, at the end of the day, like what some of the stuff that makes the guys here at Boise State so special, like different than other places, is it's smart, tough guys. And all those guys were smart football players and tough guys. And then, you get to that next level of elite and you have to have, a different level of explosiveness. And so whether it's Larry or Ryan Clady here, or, Laramie or whoever, like those guys have a different level of twitch, right? But at the end of the day, all of those guys were smart players and tough players.
And the versatility, too, is kind of what I learned going to tight end, seeing the O-line, like especially the interior three.
Did you come in as a quarterback?
I was, yes, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
No, I was a pansy, and then Coach Ridd got me right.
We toughened him up a little bit.
I like it. I like it.
Coach Ridd put me through the ringer, definitely. But
had to work through the rim blocks and
yeah, put me up against like Sam Whitney and those guys, and it was like Rudy just getting knocked down over and over.
Everybody needs a wake up call in life.
Absolutely, but
takes everybody a little bit of time to figure out the real good stuff in football happens in the front seven.
It does. It felt like a whole nother game. It was like backyard football. I was like, this is, it's a lot more injuries.
7-on-7.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this is real football.
Oh, yeah. No, it was great. But yeah, definitely like working with those O linemen, like we had a guard play almost all 5 positions throughout a season. So that versatility of being able to just be an athlete and know all the roles seems like it's really important as well.
No, there's no doubt. I think everybody feels like they come out of the womb and, they got whatever stamped on the bottom of their foot. Like I'm a left tackle. That's just what I do.
Yeah.
I'm a right guard. That's just what I do. I'm a center. And at the end of the day, playing football is playing football. And your stance is a little bit different if you go from the left side to the right side, and which, of course, at tight end,
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's like, let's just be football players and do what we can to help the team win.
Absolutely.
One thing I think is pretty cool about you being an O-line coach, every team I've ever been a part of that was successful, the culture was really defined by the O-line. And I know, especially around here, you started a lot of that. But, just talk about those guys they're probably the 5 biggest guys on the team, first of all, and then the biggest group on the team in general, and like how important that is.
And they have the biggest personalities too. So
yeah, no doubt. I mean, the Dirt Dogs, they're for sure all about, the nice thing is what the starting point is, they're all about winning. Like that's what those guys always care about. Like, you walk into a Sunday meeting and their whole mojo is, did we win or did we not win?
Mm-hmm.
And if we won, they're good dudes, right? They're not grumpy. They're feeling good and they're having fun. And so really when, you got a group of guys that they walk into the building every day and what they care most about is the team and winning, you have a pretty good shot to enjoy coaching these guys.
Yeah, pissed off alignment is one of the worst things in the world.
No, but I always appreciate that about Strauss. Like he, I think, communicated that to those guys really well. Like, you guys are the biggest group on the team, and how you go is how everybody else goes. And if you guys think it's like no big deal, then that's probably a problem for the whole team. Because, I mean, I'm not trying to I'm trying to think of the right word, but minimize the DBs and the receivers. Right. But those guys have a bad day a lot of days.
Yeah.
And if the O-line shows up and like they're ready to kick ass, the other guys are kind of fall in line.
For sure. And especially at practice, they set the tone. Like, those guys arguably have the most excruciating practices, just especially with fast breaks, and you're constantly hitting and running up and down the field at a damn heavy weight like that. They go through some of the hardest shit I've seen out of practice, and if they can go through it and bring people along,
those guys,
it's pretty easy to follow.
We're here at Boise State in week 15, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are held together by duct tape. And,
yeah.
You know, like, so, you know, the receivers don't feel great. Like, my hammy's tight.
Right.
Like, they don't run as fast. The O-line, D-line, like, those guys don't feel great. They're still going to hit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know, you talked earlier about, you know, what's the unique traits about being a great O-lineman. And I almost feel like, you know, talking about the idea of effort is silly, because at some point, like, that's the cost of living to get in the building, effort, right? Every position plays with effort. But at the end of the day, if you are not going to play and practice with elite effort as an offensive lineman, you have no chance. Like, you are not doing this team any good. And so, like, I think about it like, you know, our evaluation is always going to go back to the film, right? And we're very fortunate at this level of football to have great film. Like, we film every single step everybody takes every day, basically from the time they wake up till the time they go to sleep. Yeah. It's silly, right? The amount of film we have. But there's also another, you know, component to that is holding these guys accountable to how they did all that, right? The effort they played with. And if it's not good enough, they need to know it. And so, like, I think about, you know, the elite players that we've all had the chance to coach or be around and how athletic they are. But the great players, it's effort. Always it's about effort.
Yeah. For sure.
And no excuses either. That's
no
another
excuse.
thing with the O-line. It was, no matter how bad it was like, can't say it on here, but it was like no one cares.
Oh, you're getting fined in the NFL if you bring up an excuse. Right. Trust me. You're paying a lot of money for trying to bring up an excuse.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I love the O-line position. I even got an O-line pride shirt, and I love wearing that. I like it. No doubt.
Those were treasured deals. Like,
they were.
If you could get one of those, you're like,
I think it's because
pretty cool.
I think it's because I chip blocked like 30 times in a game, and they're like, all right, you can take a shirt. Yeah, so we got a
well,
big,
I was going to say, I haven't been paying tremendous attention to that, but like, Strauss, what are some of your best memories of games at Boise State? Mm-hmm. Like, biggest game or best memory or whatever?
It's hard for me not to go straight back to Nevada 2002, last game of the year, sunny day, midday game, and we're going to Nevada to win the WAC championship. And at that point, I'd coached maybe, 12, 13 years, but I'd never been a champion. And we smoked them, shoved the ball down their throat. I'm sure we ran for over 200 yards.
Oh, God, 300, I think.
Whatever it was. We smoked them.
It was like, yeah.
And to get on that plane after the game and just say, I'm a champion, was honestly, as a coach, one of the best days of my life.
That was, I may have told this story on here before, but they had somebody there had been a Boise State coach or whatever, and they had like these wristbands on that our guys noticed during warm-ups that said something about beat Boise State or something like that. And we kicked off and ran down. It was a touchback or whatever. And like 10 of the guys on the kickoff team come back holding up the bracelets.
Yes.
I'm like,
awesome.
we're good. We're going to be good today.
Speaking of that, did the stealing towels tradition, did that start while you were there, or was that after?
I was not always privy to everything that went on. And I think, as a matter of fact, they did what they could to avoid a lot of things being sent my direction. So I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
But
Now,
yes, it definitely
now
did.
they let it known pretty easily.
The Strauss and I were joking about it too, but so that was 02. 04, we went back to Nevada and won the championship there in a not a 70-degree sunny day. That's one of my best memories. I mean, we wake up in the morning and it is not just a little bit of a blizzard, it's a blizzard. And we're going through our game day stuff and they're like, yeah, we're going to play today. And we're like, so we're getting ready for the morning walkthrough after breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And Hawk goes, we're going outside. And we're like, we're what? In the middle of a blitz, you can't even see. And Ron's got the defense, Ron Collins, and he's like, we are not going outside. And we go outside and walk through our normal opener script and all that stuff. And we can't see anything. I mean, you can't follow a sheet of paper. We walk back inside when it's all over. Defense actually had to come out for 5 minutes to do special teams roll call.
Yeah.
And walk back inside this is miserable, but if our guys survive that, we'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
We show up, they had to shovel the field, and we beat the brakes off them that night. It was, I don't even know. But
I think typical of our guys, they went from being pissed that we were going outside to walk through 4 hours before the game to taking their shirts off and having tremendous pride in the fact that we're outside walking through before we're going to play Nevada.
Yeah. To me, the worst part was, had it been a close game, it wouldn't have been nearly as big a deal that Hawk made him move the heaters off our sideline, because you would have been kind of involved in the game.
Yeah.
But we went up 40 and had no heaters on the sideline.
Yeah, that's miserable. And
so it just turned into having a little bit more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember Pitt made us do that. I think it was my freshman year. He had us take our shirts off during warm-ups, and I was a Florida boy, so I was like, hell no. And
you guys just didn't know that Pitt used to Vaseline up.
Oh, we found out at the end. And we also found out that Dale had a heated vest. So he was always talking shit about wearing shorts, but he was wearing a heated vest underneath there.
A lot of secrets out there about both Pitt and Dale.
Sneaky.
We're asking about the 03 game, 77-14. What was that guy's first name?
That was 77-14. They we came out a little lackluster in warm-ups and it wasn't going great. And they decided to punt the ball right into our huddle. And it was they were bowing up on everybody, and all of a sudden our guys got fired up, and then they had the one-handed long snapper, and I think he blocked 2 punts.
Their coach's name was Fitz, and so I don't remember what his last name was, but anyhow,
Fitzhill.
So they can't. It was pouring. It was miserable. It was cold. It was pouring, and so he and Hawk met, at the 50-yard line pregame, and Hawk said, "Hey, shoot, bad weather today," and his response was, "Oh, this is standard operating procedure for us." And Hawk came in and told us that in the locker room. We're like, "We are going to smoke these dudes."
We had some great locker room moments. I am going to bring up the very first one.
South Carolina?
Yes. We've never coached together before. The whole crew. Strauss and Pete had coached together. Strauss had coached with Hawk. Pete had coached with Hawk. Mm-hmm. We had a whole RPE, had a whole new crew in there. And the official comes in to do his deal where he meets with the head coach, and he's like, "Coach Hawkins, how you doing?" And Hawk goes, "How y'all doing?" he dropped this Southern accent on the guy, and there's 10 guys in the locker room what the hell is this? But hey, we got our ass beat. Went home. We actually played our ass off. Got a field goal block that game, and kind of cost us. But at that point, it was like
that was our first insight into Hawk as the chameleon, right? Because then we went to Hawaii, and he was on the bus talking about, "Hey, brother." So he was not afraid to embrace the environment that we were in.
That's awesome.
And you can't even imagine. I can't do that story justice.
Yeah.
Because I think it was after the game we got on the bus, like, yeah, maybe this was not going to go well for the time.
Probably broke the ice at least. Started off.
It certainly did.
We're getting some happy early birthdays in there for you.
Well, I was going to say that. Happy birthday to Chris Strausser
Thank
tomorrow.
You. They said 35th birthday?
Ish.
Yeah. I'm sure Strausser got a couple grandchildren, couple daughters, son-in-laws, and I'm sure that's probably where part of that came from. Just guessing. But, yeah. So happy birthday.
Thank
a
you.
little bit earlier.
Happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
I think so. He's classy. Usually the guys we have
I'm a Chico State grad, and I have spent most of my life drinking beer, but I'm over it.
Reminds me of a great Chico State tradition, pants down beer chugging.
Oh, there's no question about it. Still lives today at weddings.
Somebody asked me, you guys go to Coach. I don't know if that miss you or anywhere. Oh, what don't you miss?
Bob.
I don't miss all of these out of left field freaking opinions, which I'm sure are spot on, but I didn't necessarily see them that way. What do I do miss? Yeah, I mean, competing. Like, honestly, at the end of the day, like competing and trying. You wake up every day wanting to win. People don't get that, I don't think. Like, of course you're competitive and you like being in the locker room and all those other things. But at the end of the day, like when you spent your entire life waking up wanting to win, it's hard to turn that off.
Every single day, right? And
Every day.
everything you do matters.
Every day. And that's, like, to me, game day is like almost a joke, right? Like I did nothing on game day that mattered other than 5%. Like, it's the other days of the week that really mattered. Like game day is game day. Like, that's the player's day. And I said this before, I'm going to say it again because I think it's important that people hear this. Football is a player's game. It's a player's game. You can say what you want about the coaches and the hype and the coaches getting paid money. I always thought of it like, okay, if it's 80% players and 20% coaches, my mission is to be 100% at my 20%. But it's only 20%. So the players got to play, and the players got to play good. And you better recruit the right players, because if you don't, you're going to have a long year.
Yeah.
It's a player's game. There's no way around that. It is a player's game. People don't get that. Everybody wants to point fingers after the bad game at the head coach, the coordinator, whoever. It's a player's game.
Nobody's ever called plays they thought wouldn't work, right?
No question. No question. So, and that's not to say that coaches don't have accountability. We get it. We do. We get it. But it's a player's game.
I love it. What was the biggest thing you noticed going from college to coaching NFL?
I think for me, the biggest thing that I felt was how much the players expected me to be on my A game the second I walked in the building every day. And in college, college guys they're 18 to 22 years old. They're very committed and they're great players, people, all that stuff. But they didn't know any better, right? They're just like, you tell me what to do, I'll do it.
Yeah.
You go to the NFL, and these guys are looking at you like they're, dude, you need to bring your A game so you help my career.
Right.
Like literally, like they expected me to be on my A game the second I walked in the building. Like there was no version of like, okay, hey, let's all have fun today. No, you need to make me better, or we need to have someone else in here.
Yeah.
Which I respected.
Yeah,
Right.
very competitive, right? I mean, same thing. You said wake up every day ready to compete. And I think that's been something here that's been bred for as long, probably back to Dirk and all that. Like, I mean, you better wake up and be ready to roll every single day, because somebody's going to ask you. Riley used to ask me, like, what if this happens? Like,
Yeah.
And I was thankful more often than not that I had answers for something that was, and sometimes you would have to be like, oh, God, we have never talked about that.
Yeah.
Don't think it's going to happen.
No, there's nothing better than coaching guys that ask you those questions, and like you literally look back at the room and say like, well, shit, I don't know. That's a problem. And then, but the good news is, you have smart players, and you're like, okay, we better figure that out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That to me was one of the most fun things about coaching here. Is it wasn't just like you're not up there on the board just drawing lines saying do this, do that, or rules like covered, uncovered. Like it was like, no, here's what we're doing. This is what they're going to be in, and if they're not in this, we expect them in this.
Yeah.
And oh my God, if they do this, like here's our answers, and if they do something else, then you better check the play, because this ain't gonna work. But like I think that's one of the things really cool, especially offensive. And defense had their own deal. I just don't know exactly all the things they did, but like there were answers to everything. It wasn't just like, no, let's roll the dice, see what happens. Other than a few trick plays.
Yeah.
If they do that, like, we're trying to trick play.
Yeah. And it gives the players a lot of confidence too. Like I was the big what if guy. I would ask every situation that could possibly happen for each play. And luckily I've always had great coaches when I was at Boise State. So like asking Rid those questions and need an answer for every single one, it builds confidence, because you're like, now I know exactly what to do no matter how this dude plays it. So
yeah, there's no question. I mean, a huge part of our job as coaches is to solve issues. And so, there's going to be issues every game.
Right.
There's going to be issues all season long, right? And so you have to have answers for the what ifs.
Yeah.
Nobody likes it, right? The what if is a small percentage.
You're right.
And I think it's, at the end of the day, what maybe most people don't get is how much time you spend on the what ifs.
Yeah.
But you got to have answers for a what if.
For sure.
Like Ken said, you're going to have a player too that you're like, hey, we're going to roll the dice. If it works, it works. If not, hey, they got us right here. But, you got to have answers for what's going to come up in the game.
It creates confidence and lets the guy go, at the end of the day, be physical, because he's confident. And that's how you win football games, by being physical. I mean, we've said it forever. The most physical team wins.
Yeah.
And it always holds true. I think back to one of my favorite games was Hawaii came in here. Was that 04, 05 or whatever, and Timmy Chang's playing for the passing championship or record or whatever. And Ron, like they got him like just he needed like literally less than 100 yards, and he had to come out of the game in the middle of the fourth quarter because we were beating him up so bad with like 60 yards passing. And I think about that, like they were as good a throwing team as we had seen at that point. And at the end of the day, we were just way more physical, and they couldn't handle it. And just none of those guys, I don't think, really on the D-line especially, and probably Darren on the O-line went to the NFL, but the other guys didn't. And we beat the crap out of them. And that was one of my most fun games, because it was just so, think about that, Fresno that year, and some of those other games. But those were fun memories. Strauss, we did have it came up the other day, but anytime a team opens with Kenny G to start the game, you're in pretty good shape, right?
Yeah, Fresno State 2001, which was honestly, I felt like it was our springboard. Of course, I think about, when Dirk came here, and at the end of the day, you can say what you want, but this place got cranked up a notch when Dirk came here. It really did. Hawk did a great job. He had Hawk's record here from 2001 to 2005 was better than anybody in college football. Unbelievable, right? And then Pete comes here and he just cranks it up another level. And Hawk, Harsh does a great job here. On and on, right? But I think about that Fresno game when they were 6-0, and they had just gone to Wisconsin and smoked Wisconsin, smoked them.
Beat Colorado, I think.
Beat Colorado. Gone to Colorado, beat Colorado. Really good team. David Carr's the quarterback. I remember going out there pregame and, whatever, just walking around, and David Carr is throwing balls from 50 yards into trash cans and just dunking them time after time after time. And I'm like, we have no chance.
Oh, shit.
Zero chance. We're 3-3. We just got smoked by Rice. We got beat by Rice so bad that I could barely walk for a week. We got smoked by Rice, crushed. Right. And then we go to Fresno, and Ryan Dinwiddie basically, by his play, says to our team, let's go. Let's compete. Let's go. This is our time to be a real football team. Let's go. And everybody stepped up and made plays, and we're just looking at each other like, okay, what's going on here? This is real right now. We are actually competing with Fresno Friday night, and we beat their ass, right? And that was kind of the springboard for us to, in Hawk's era, to take that next step.
I even think about the end of the game, in this one place, Hawk was amazing. I think it was 4th and 8, and we come out of a timeout. We got 12 guys on the field on defense, and they call illegal participation, whatever. Mm-hmm. It's 4th and 3, and we got the team back on. Hawks this is what we live for. This is what we live for. And the guys are like, yeah. And Greg Sasser, who's freaking awesome, but sacks David Carr. One guy first pick in the NFL draft, the other guy not so much. But and that's game over. And God, it was that was amazing. And we finished that season good. I think we went on, lost to La Tech, just played not very good. Ended up tied for the conference championship. And going into the next year was the brick by brick, and we're going to figure it out. And I mean, we were a dominant football team with a phenomenal quarterback, a really good running back, and a bunch of tough guys. Our O-line was, I mean, they were good, but their number one quality, they were freaking tough.
Well, you think about the quarterback spot, right? Our quarterback broke his ankle week 2 at Arkansas.
Yeah.
And we pretty much, and
with a great special teams plan. Let's have RD punt the ball.
Yes. And that
was the dumbest thing of all time.
We got our asses beat that day bad. Right. And so, but you think about that. So then BJ came in and started the next, whatever it was, 6 or 7 games and did phenomenal. Credit to Chris Peterson for the quarterback coach and getting him ready. And then by the time Ryan came back, we were rolling.
Oh, it's funny because I was telling somebody the other day, BJ had won 4 or 5 straight, whatever it was. And we were like, hey, BJ, we're going to let him start. But RD, you're coming in after series 2 or first quarter, whatever it was. And RD, couldn't wait to get rolling. And at the end of the game, he's over there quit pressing, yelling at
at the DBs?
Oh, no, yelling at the sideline.
Oh, shit.
Not the DBs.
Oh.
Yeah, as he converted a hitch to a touchdown. And
dude.
It was freaking awesome. I mean, it was awesome. That team certainly took on the persona of a few of the guys on offense. RD, Scooter, Forsey, Swilly. Yeah, I mean, and we had some tough dudes on defense, don't get me wrong, but RD for sure, right? I mean, I've tried to tell you around RD and Kellen, like Kellen's like a surgeon. RD's like an assassin.
Very true. I've coached a lot of groups, and I think about over the years of the lines that I've coached and the quarterbacks that they've loved. I don't think there's ever been a group that wanted to play their ass off more for their quarterback than the group that I coached in 2002 here. Like they would do anything they possibly could for Ryan Dinwiddie to have success. And then RD would, do the stupid thing when he got sacked and talk smack to the D lineman, and they wanted to strangle him. Like, bro, don't do that. But this group here in 2002 would do anything they could for his success.
And it's funny. Like I try to tell people, like so much of what happens today is built on kind of that crew. And I'm talking more about the players than the coaches or any of that. Those guys really laid the groundwork for what's happening, and blue collar and toughness and all that stuff. And it was such a fun time to be a part of that. And
Absolutely. When I first got on campus, Harson the first day was talking about RD, and he was like, this is what built this, and in a sense, like his mindset, his grit, determination, even the shit talking, like that's what built Boise State, that chip on the shoulder. So like you're saying, it started there, and they continue to push that on everybody that walks through the doors.
And then it helped grow it, right? Because then you get Kellen, and you got Ryan Clady, and you got Austin Pettis, and all those, like it helped grow. And there were so many different things that went into that. Recruiting Texas was a huge part of it, because some of those guys that came out of that, George Iloka and I mean, and all that stuff, like, just kind of came to a head all at the same time, and you end up with this tremendous team that has a foundation built on what just a bunch of tough guys did, and it carried over enough through all that, and it still continued to go because there's been some continuity in the coaching. There's been a lot of continuity in players, whether they become coaches or they're at least still around. It's a very unique place.
Absolutely.
No doubt. Yeah. And I don't know, honestly, I don't know much about the podcast here, but what I would say is, the coaching staff here today is elite. They're elite, right? And I know everybody's got their frustrations with whatever it is, 8-4. There is just no way.
There's a lot of schools be
for
happy.
Sure. And there's no way to avoid that. You just don't have the type of year you wanted to have. But, Spencer, unbelievable. Nate, unbelievable. Shenander, unbelievable. Like, you all have here in Boise exactly what you need. And so be careful what you wish for.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, it's and I've been very transparent, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those guys are my friends. I'm going to defend them. I am. But, like, we should be really happy about the guys we have leading the program and the players we have leading the program. I mean, we're very fortunate. And, hey, obviously every year the goal is to go undefeated, win the national championship, or at least, I think the goal now in the room says conference championship and a CFP game. So they've been transparent about that. Like, nobody in that building's happy that they've lost 4 games. But I would tell you, in my opinion, this is one of the best coaching years I've ever seen. I mean, I see those guys out there at practice or on Sundays in the training room. I mean, there's a bunch of guys out there that are like pieced together, and they're out there giving it everything they got to help make this thing go right.
No doubt.
Somebody's asking thoughts and keys for the game Friday.
That's what?
Thoughts and keys for the game. What's your thoughts on Friday's game?
Well, I think, thinking about Friday's game, which obviously everybody's thinking about and should be, because you have a chance to win the championship, right? Which is what every year you're focused on. And so, I think to me, that's the one game this year that I actually went to was against UNLV. And so it's a hard thing to think about, okay, let's just have the same game plan, right? We smoked them. And, that's what happened. They smoked them. They got after UNLV the first time they played them. And so,
you're a guy, though, that's played in the NFL, two teams.
Yep.
Or same team
in your
twice
division, you play twice every year. And so you can't do that. You can't do that because what is UNLV preparing for? Exactly what you did to them the last time. And so you got to figure out the balance between what's your best stuff that they know what we're going to do and we know what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, we're going to do it better than they do it. Yeah. And so there has to be a balance because you for sure have to do some of that, right? You have to do what you're best at.
Yeah, it's like the
Got
game.
window dress it, right?
Yeah, it's like the game within the game. You know what they can't stop, but then you know what you hit them on, they're going to overplay. You have players off of it. And I always liked being able to listen to you guys talk about playing Fresno after we played them during the year and building run plays that we kept destroying them on and finding a way to make a pass play off it.
Make it look different, make it look the same, and then do something else. So
I think being stubborn is stupid, but I also think there's a real value to saying, okay, they have to stop this before we do something different. And so, there's going to be some of what they did, a few months back against UNLV that has success. It's still going to be in the game plan, but they got to have a few different wrinkles.
For sure.
But at the end of the day, and I give BJ crap about this all the time, but can't turn the ball over. We got to create some turnovers, which we did last time. Got to run the ball, efficient on third down, which last game, I believe it's 13 out of 24 on third down, which I've never, ever heard of a team having 24 third downs in a game, much less converting 13 of them. And defensively 1 for 10. So, and red zone efficiency is going to be big. It's all the same stuff. It doesn't change. That's why I joke about it week to week with BJ. If you're good in those categories, you'll probably win the game.
Right.
And in the NFL, explosive plays, right? Explosive plays, turnovers, red zone, I would guess.
Right. There's no doubt you have your stats that you're focused on. And, but then I think also deeper into it is okay, how are we going to do this? Really and I totally agree. We all know that those are the things, right? But how are we going to do it? Both staffs are talking about the same stuff. We have to win the turnover battle. We have to, how are we going to do it in the specifics? And that's to me, was always the secret sauce at Boise State versus many of the teams we played. We sold our guys on this is how we're going to do that.
Absolutely.
Right. This is how we're going to win that. It's not just we have to win this, but this is how we're going to do it.
We're going to hit these plays in the red zone. We're going to run the ball all the way down. We're going to add the QB in, whatever. All those things in the red zone, defensively, hey, we're playing zone here. They don't expect it. We're going to create a turnover, those things. And I agree. I do agree. That's the secret sauce of Boise State is it's not just telling everybody what we need to do. It's hey, how are we going to do it?
Yeah.
And then guys buying in.
Not to steal a phrase from Coach Hawk, but Joe Sixpack at the
Jackson's
at Jackson's across the street knows these are important, but Joe Sixpack doesn't know how we're going to get it done.
That is a great way to close it out with our Jackson's reference. Make sure you stop in at Jackson's, get your 6-pack on the way to tailgate Friday night. Have a hell of a time. Show up, be early, be loud. Thanks to Jackson's as always. Thanks to Coach Strauss. Like I said, one of my good friends. Our families go back way beyond probably most of the people watching. Back to the Oregon State Corvallis days. So, but we're excited, and we'll all be back in the Broncos on Friday night.
Go Broncos.
Go
And don't forget the subscriber-only shows coming up. If you're a paid subscriber of BNN, go over to the VIP message board. You can get your link. We're going to talk about signing day coming up here in just a couple minutes.
Sweet. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Go Broncos.
Bronco Nation will not score. Jackson pours. Each game I score a touchdown. Head to Jackson's on Monday for a 49-cent fountain drink with Let's Go rewards. And don't forget your free banana, Jackson's. Let's go.